This is the compact electric bike that finally made my commute and errands feel simple. It folds small, rides steady, and gives me a real boost when a hill tries to ruin my morning. I put the Isenwheel Yun Mini electric bike in the category of practical, portable city transport. I see it fitting people like me who live with limited storage, deal with stairs, or want something that can slide into a car trunk without a wrestling match. It also fits that space where I can ride it myself for work and hand it to my teenage nephew on weekends without worrying that it is too big or too fast for him to handle responsibly. The design is straightforward with a clean, step-through frame that makes getting on and off easy in regular clothes. I like that it does not look bulky. The frame feels solid, painted in a way that shrugs off scuffs, and the proportions do not scream toy even though it is small. The 14-inch wheels were the first thing I noticed because they give the bike that compact stance, but they do not feel twitchy once I get moving. The handlebar folds, the pedals fold, and the seat post slides down fast. That matters in real life. I have carried it through a narrow hallway and tucked it behind a coat rack, and I have also dropped it into a sedan trunk with groceries and a gym bag still in there. I would not call it feather light, but it is manageable for short carries. The step-through shape helps with balance when I am lifting it, which my back appreciates after a long day. Setup was friendlier than I expected. I am not a mechanic. From slicing open the box to rolling down my block was roughly 40 minutes. The tools in the box were enough, the instructions were clear, and I did not end up with mystery bolts left over. The folding mechanism clicks with a reassuring snap, and I had no drama lining things up the first time. On the first ride, I used the seat quick release to dial in a comfortable height, and the posture feels upright without putting pressure on my wrists. The controls on the handlebar are simple. The power button, the mode buttons, and a small liquid crystal display that shows speed, battery, and assist level. The display is bright enough to read in full sun, and it does not blind me at night. I like simple. I do not want to tap through a maze of menus just to change assist. On the road, the motor response is where this bike won me over. The spec sheet says 500 watts, but what I care about is how it feels when I am late and a hill is in front of me. The assist comes on smoothly, not like an on and off light switch. I can feel a little extra push when the road tilts up, almost as if it is sensing the grade and lending a hand. There is no sudden surge that throws me off balance. It just nudges me forward. My neighborhood has a short climb that my mapping app says is roughly 15 degrees. I tested it several times in pedal assist, and the bike cleared it without a fight. On flat streets, the top speed settles around 20 miles per hour, which feels right for traffic on city blocks and shared paths. It is quick enough that I do not feel like a rolling obstacle, and not so fast that it turns every ride into a white-knuckle situation. I tested the 3 riding modes over a full week of commuting and errands. Pure electric mode is nice for those lazy mornings when coffee has not kicked in yet. Pedal assist is the sweet spot for me because it stretches the battery while keeping my pace brisk. Normal bike mode turns off the motor, and I used that a few times to get some exercise or to limp home when I had almost drained the battery. Switching modes is just a couple of clicks, and the bike remembers my last choice when I power it back on, which is a small but appreciated detail. Range and charging are probably the most practical topics. The removable battery is tucked inside the frame, which keeps it out of the weather and out of sight when I lock up. I like that I can grab the battery and bring it inside to charge without hauling the whole bike. From near empty to full, my charge times landed around 3 to 4 hours. On mixed rides with moderate pedal assist, I consistently got right around 25 miles on a single charge. I weigh enough that I pay attention to load limits, and this frame claims to support up to 264 pounds. I never felt like I was at the limit. If I had a string of very long days, I would consider a second battery, but for normal commuting and errands, I charged every 2 or 3 days and did not worry. Comfort surprised me. The seat looks a little wide and plush, which sometimes means squishy at first and sore later. That did not happen here. My rides of 40 minutes or so ended with no numbness, and I did not start shopping for an aftermarket saddle, which is rare for me. There is no suspension fork or shock, so the ride is on the firm side if I dive into rough cobblestones or potholes. On regular asphalt and concrete, it feels planted and calm. The tires are fat for a small wheel, which helps to take the edge off bumps, and the frame does not rattle. If I lived on a gravel road, this would not be my first choice. For urban streets, parks, and bike lanes, it is right at home. Braking and visibility matter when I am riding at dawn or after dark. The double-disc brakes give a predictable squeeze with no squeal in the rain, at least in my testing after a light shower. Modulation is easy. I can feather them on a downhill without drama or clamp down if a car door swings open. The built-in headlight and tail light make me feel seen. They are not just token lights. They throw a useful beam and keep me visible without needing to strap on half a dozen extra gadgets. I still wear reflective gear at night, but it is nice that the bike itself helps. A quick word on maintenance, because I would rather ride than wrench. The drive system is quiet and low maintenance. I have not had to fuss with it beyond a quick wipe down after riding through puddles. Nothing flings oil on my pants, and there is no rattling when I hit a bad patch of pavement. I also appreciate that the cables are routed in a tidy way, so I am not snagging anything when I fold it or slide it into the trunk. Real-world use over 2 weeks looked like this. Morning commute of about 9 miles each way with that one steep hill in the middle. Lunch runs to a nearby market where I use the small front basket for a bag of groceries and a loaf of bread. An evening ride to a gym with the bike folded into the trunk beside a duffel. Weekend errands with my nephew taking it to school and back on a test day. On days when the forecast called for light rain, I wiped it down after arriving and had 0 electrical hiccups. The battery door seals tight, and the charging port has a little cover that actually stays closed, which sounds trivial until it does not. One use case stands out. A Monday morning where I was running late, the street was clogged, and I needed to bring a backpack and a pair of shoes. I unfolded the bike in under a minute, tossed the backpack in the basket, and took a route that cuts through a park, pops out onto a quiet street, and then climbs that annoying hill. In pedal assist, I stayed at an even cadence, let the motor pick up the slack on the climb, and rolled into work calmer than I would have been if I had sat in a rideshare for half an hour. I parked it under my desk after folding the handlebar and pushing the seat down, and it just lived there without becoming an office decoration that blocks everyone. That is the kind of small, daily win that adds up. There are smart touches that genuinely improve the experience. The hidden removable battery means less chance of tampering when I lock up outside a coffee shop, and easier charging in a tiny apartment. The compact wheel size with a sturdy frame makes the bike feel both nimble and stable, which is not always the case with small folders. The assist tuning feels thoughtful. I do not get that jerky on-off sensation that I have felt on cheaper electric bikes. The liquid crystal display is readable in direct sun, which spares me the guesswork about remaining range. Assembly was friendly enough that I was confident handing the folded bike to a family member without a mini training session. Even the kickstand placement makes sense. It holds the bike securely without getting in the way of the pedals. It is not perfect, and that is okay. The firm ride over broken pavement reminds me that there is no suspension, so I ease off the speed on rough blocks. The frame is a bit heavier than ultra-light folding bikes. If I had to carry it up multiple flights of stairs every single day, I would feel that weight. The top speed of about 20 miles per hour is a reasonable ceiling for a compact city bike, but if I were looking to blast down long open trails at high speeds, I would pick a different style. The range I got is honest for city riding with stops and starts, but anyone planning very long daily distances should plan on topping up more often or keeping a spare battery handy. As a whole, the Wheel Yun Mini electric bike has earned a spot in my daily routine. It fits my life without demanding a bunch of compromises. It folds down small enough to live in my space. It rides with enough power to make hills and headwinds feel less annoying. It charges quickly enough that I am not babysitting it. It stops well, it lights up well, and it stays quiet in a way that makes the ride more relaxing. I trust it enough to let a teenager I care about use it, and I enjoy it enough to keep choosing it over a car for short trips. If someone asked me who should consider this bike, I would say anyone who needs a practical, compact electric ride for city streets, school runs, and daily errands, and wants something easy to store and simple to maintain. If gravel trails or very long commutes are the main goal, there are other styles that make more sense. For the rest of my real-life rides, this hits the balance I want between convenience and capability. I will share detailed information about the Isenwheel Yun Mini electric bike in the comments section. Everyone, thank you for watching.